Up on 8:05, no surprises in North Carolina's top race for who will be fighting for the state's next governor. Attorney General Josh Stein took the Democratic nod. Republican voters chose current Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson to represent them in November. Both candidates wasted no time making the case why they are the best man for the job following their victories.
Robinson says that he is more in tune with the problems that North Carolinians face than his challenger. He's trying to use that to sway voters who remain on the fence or maybe who have been turned off by his controversial and conspiracy-based comments.
Robinson is also diving deep into his working class history to try to relate more to voters.
I see some people out there that probably know somebody from Canton or Asheboro where their industry was shut down and their jobs were lost. We're here for you. We understand you. You see, I have an opponent that doesn't understand any of that. I have an opponent who doesn't understand what it's like to be at work and have the boss man come and take you to a room and sit you down and tell you, we're moving this plant to Mexico and there's nothing you can do about it. And now you have to go find another job.
His focus going forward is laying out how he wants to reform education. Robinson said, quote, remove the agenda from the classroom.
On the Democratic ticket, the gubernatorial candidate says the state is, quote, at a crossroads. During his victory speech, Josh Stein highlighted some of the things that current Governor Roy Cooper has worked to get done, including expanding Medicaid coverage. The two are aligned on many key issues. Stein also pledged to veto any further attempts to restrict contraception, IVF, or abortions. The Attorney General said that his campaign would be forward-looking and inclusive, saying that his Republican opponent focuses too much on culture wars.
But we must be clear-eyed about the stakes of this election. We're at a crossroads, and the choice before us, two competing visions for North Carolina. Mark Robinson's vision is bleak and divisive, consumed by spite and hate.
North Carolina's governor's race is expected to be the most closely watched and possibly most expensive in the country this year. Stein will start the next phase of his campaign today, heading to Durham for his first event after winning the primary. And with Josh Stein winning the Democratic primary, who will replace him in the state attorney general's office? In the Democratic Attorney General primary, current 14th District Congressman and former state Senator Jeff Jackson won his party's nomination. He'll now face Republican Congressman Dan Bishop come November. Bishop ran unopposed in the Republican primary.
A race many of us are watching is State House District 105, which was won by Democrat Nicole Sidman. If you're unfamiliar with that district, it's a newly drawn district currently represented by Republican Tricia Cotham, who switched parties last year. The state's Democratic Party called her switch a betrayal, and now they're looking to set things right for Democrat voters who originally elected her to office. Mecklenburg County Democrats predict the race between Cotham and Sidman will run up to $1 million on either side. And while one Cotham carries on, another will end their term. In a surprising upset, longtime Mecklenburg County Commissioner Pat Cotham, mother of Tricia, lost her bid for re-election as an at-large member. The top three candidates won, with Cotham trailing behind at 18%. It's a rare defeat for an incumbent. She's held that seat since 2012. Mecklenburg's board is made up of 9 total commissioners, 3 at-large, and then 6 districts.
November is looking to be a repeat of 2020. President Biden won North Carolina's Democratic presidential primary, and former President Trump has significantly increased his lead in delegates over former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. Trump won all Super Tuesday states except for Vermont, which goes to former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley.
And as we said this morning, Haley is suspending her presidential campaign today.
Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson joining us now from D.C. with more on that. A busy night and now a busy morning. Good morning, Rashad.
Hey, good morning to you. With Nikki Haley exiting the race, it now leaves former President Trump the main candidate on the Republican side for president.
They call it Super Tuesday for a reason. This is a big one.
Former President Donald Trump moves closer to becoming the Republican presidential nominee with projected wins in a number of states holding primaries on Super Tuesday. Trump now turns his focus toward a rematch with President Biden.
We're going to close our borders. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get the inflation down.
And Nikki Haley scoring a victory in Vermont after a disappointing performance in other Super Tuesday races.
It is time for a new generational leader.
President Biden is also the projected winner in contests on the Democratic side as he prepares to take on Trump again.
The last 5 polls, you guys don't report, I'm winning 5 in a row.
Tuesday, more voters followed Michigan's lead, where more than 100,000 people voted uncommitted as a protest over the president's handling of the war in Gaza.
I think the Biden campaign really wants to nip this uncommitted voter in the bud.
And that was Rashad Hudson reporting there. Our election coverage does continue on this morning on Queen City News Now. Our Shakira Speaks will be joining us from Charleston live with a preview of Nikki Haley's conference. Conference is set to start at 10, and the report from Shakira comes this morning about 9 o'clock.